Hello and welcome along to another episode of Manx Radio's newscast. Now, a public meeting was held last night which saw a hefty turnout, with residents eager to hear the views of Paul Burgess, who was presenting what he describes as an alternative to net zero. Mr. Burgess also describes himself as a climatologist who spent his career looking at the extremes of weather. He claims the Isle of Man's attempts to reach net zero and tackle climate change is rubbish. I sat down with him when the meeting drew to a close. Let's start by just asking, why are you on the Isle of Man? What brought you here?
Well, it's very difficult to move the pendulum that's against me. And I live in a country of 60-odd million people. And we tried doing Leeds area, and then what happened was the Isle of Man came up, and people said to me, can you come and help us? And I thought about it, because it's quite a lot of time and work, because I made 3 or 4 videos before I even got here for the Isle of Man. But if I can have an influence in a small place like this, I have more effect.
Let's talk about the badge that you were wearing earlier, which says, I heart CO2.
Yes.
Would you call yourself a climate denier?
No, I think the climate denier are the alarmists, because if they think, I believe the climate is changing all the time. So in that sense, it is. In their sense, they actually think that you can dial a CO2 dial down or up and control the climate, and that controls the climate.
So you categorically say you're not a climate denier?
I can categorically say I'm a scientist that accepts what the climate is.
I just note in some of your YouTube videos, you're using graphs by the CO2 Coalition, which is recognised as a climate denial organisation.
No, because you're defining them as climate deniers. That means,
well, the New York Times, Newsweek, The Independent, The Washington Post, and they're also locked in a Facebook battle, which keeps removing its content due to being classified as disinformation.
Yes, that's right, because journalism today is totally corrupted. Journalism today reports things like the Heathrow temperature record at 40.1, alongside the runway at Heathrow. So what you define, if I define you as an alien, it doesn't mean to say you're an alien.
Well, let's just look at some of the graphs that you've used. One of them from the CO2 Coalition, which you've described as fact in a very recent video, which says global temperatures changed dramatically during the past 10,000 years. Can you tell me who was tracking temperatures 10,000 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, basically, we can track temperatures by isotopes and by Greenland ice cores. So if you look I use different ones. At the top of those graphs, if you looked, so all of those are well-established scientific methods that were used. These are alarmist organizations.
Well, NASA says, and I'll quote, scientists have been building estimates of the Earth's average global temperature for more than a century using records from weather stations, but before 1880, there just wasn't enough data to make accurate calculations, resulting in uncertainties in these older records. So are you saying that NASA is lying?
No, there's a different... Yes, actually, NASA do lie, but I don't know about that one. I can answer it. Look, let me explain something. You've got to estimate by what we call proxies. Now, the entire alarmism basis is based on a hockey stick going back 1,000 years. So the entire alarmism, the entire IPCC alarm, the whole industry is based on the 1998 hockey stick of 1,000-year temperatures done by tree rings, which is a totally corrupt bit of science. Does that mean to say they're lying? In actual fact, they did lie in that one. But that is the case. You have to use proxies when you're going back.
So just to bring back to the question, you are saying that NASA is lying?
No, you're trying to get me to say something. A lie.
But you just said that NASA does lie.
No. You really are.
You did say NASA does lie.
NASA can lie, yes. I'll give you an example.
So in this case, is NASA lying?
No, I don't know if they're lying in that, because I don't know whether the person knew it or not, knew the truth or not. When someone makes a claim, that's not true, and that's not true claim, it doesn't mean to say they're lying. It means to say they don't know. So to accuse a person of lying, it means they've done it intentionally. Now, there are things that NASA has done intentionally that were not true, and they are lies, and that's how you define a lie.
Okay, let's move on. Greenpeace has conducted an undercover operation in the past which revealed that 2 prominent climate skeptics were available for hire by the hour to write reports casting doubt on the dangers posed by global warming. You're buying into those types of reports, aren't you?
No, I'm not. Who are these people? I buy into evidence and science. I don't even know who you're talking about. I mean, you can say things like that. Name the scientist and I'll tell you.
One is William Happer, one of the founders of the CO2 Coalition.
That's not true. Well, I know William Happer. No, that is not true. So
you dispute that?
Well, William Happer did that science there, which is accepted by the other side. What you've got is people, and journalists are very good at it, totally disrupting the information and misreporting all the time. So they'll say things which are totally untrue to get the headline in. So William Happer is a man of integrity, and he was the advisor to 3 American presidents. He's the one responsible for the work tonight I showed on CO2, and that work is agreed by the alarmists.
Let's just come to that. Happer is reported to have been appointed by Trump to counter evidence linking CO2 emissions to global warming.
Not true. He was appointed by Trump, and he didn't like Trump, actually, so he resigned. But he resigned because White House officials became skeptical of his plan would harm Trump's re-election. No. Now, let me explain something. William Happer is advised to advise on science with Trump. That's it, science. Right. William Happer knows the truth about CO2 because he's done the work. Now, the William Happer work is agreed by the other side, which I explained tonight. So what are you getting at here? He's done scientific work, agreed with observation by satellite. So you can't argue with it. It's been agreed by satellite. The other side accepted. All we disagree on between the two sides is the feedback, which we discussed tonight. That's all we have. What you're trying to do is...
But William Happer is listed as a founder of CO2 Coalition, which we've covered is a climate denial organisation.
No, you're talking absolute nonsense. This is totally illogical. Let me explain something. I can call you a Martian. Does that mean to say you're a Martian? No. So you use this word. You see, this is not scientific, what you're doing. You don't do ad hominem attacks, which is one stop after the other, one after the other here. That's not science. You're not dealing with the evidence. Deal with the evidence. You've named William Happer a completely man of high integrity, a really great scientist who's done work that the alarmists agree is correct, right? You're naming him. And how dare you do that?
You asked me to say...
The founder of Greenpeace is totally on my side because of Greenpeace and their corrupt ways of doing things and their corrupt ways of reporting things. Did you know that? Do you know who the founder was? Well, he left Greenpeace. The founder of Greenpeace, there was 1 or 2 people who founded it at the beginning. He founded it. He did great work with the whales and all that, right? He today he's a member of the CO2 Coalition as well, by the way, right? And he gives talks all over the world on it. And he is totally on my side. Totally. He argues we want more CO2 just like I do because it's so beneficial to the world. So
okay, let's just round up. Given there's so much discrepancy that we've covered here, you're saying one thing, some people say another thing.
No. I can't let you off with that. How dare you do that? Who are the some people? You have to name these things. Who? When you say some, there is. If you're saying.
Well, we've just covered that. For example, CO2 Coalition is being recognised as a climate denial organisation, so that suggests that there are other people on the other side.
No, of course there are other people on the side.
So you do acknowledge that there are some people on the other side?
No, there's people on the other side, but unless you know what the subject is, it's very difficult. Generally, I acknowledge totally that there's a whole industry of alarmism on the other side. Yes, that's what I'm fighting. But what you're doing is pure personal attacks. What you're doing is so unscientific, so unfair, and so unreasonable. It's beyond belief. I hope you don't edit this, that's all. I just want every word repeated. Right?
Okay, so now that you have acknowledged that there are people on the other side...
Of course I stood up tonight all the time saying that people are on the other side.
Okay, so why should anyone from the Isle of Man trust anything you're saying?
Because I've got the science. I've shown them the science. That's why. Because the science is there, which they can check against the sources. That's why. Because I've used NASA, I've used NOAA, I've used NASA, and I've used IPCC. Why should you claim? I'll give you an example. Are there any more floods in the world caused by mankind? Are there? IPCC said there's not in the latest report. Are there any more droughts in the world caused by mankind? IPCC said there's not. Do you believe IPCC? Are they some sort of alarmists? Are they deniers?
You said earlier that IPCC is a intergovernmental organisation, so it's political.
Yes, it is. You're right. But it's trusted by the alarmist side, totally, right? I'm asking you a direct question, but you're cheating. You won't answer it.
This is an interview, not a debate. I'm the one asking the questions.
No, you're asking the questions, but then you're asking very smeared, incorrect questions. The fact is that the alarmists say, and spread alarm based on floods, all this frequency of this and that and the other. Forest fires, for example. The IPCC say that, right? So they say there's no more forest fires. They say the air aridity that causes them, no mankind influence, right? So when the other side doesn't, I use their own data from the other side to challenge them. And the other side's an enormous industry. right, of alarmists. They teach kids in school and abuse the minds of kids in schools, teaching them unfounded science, right? So what you're doing is you're using the term climate denier defined by somebody else. So if I call you a Martian, all right then, you're a Martian. Well, I've now called you a Martian. Does that make you one?
I could be a Martian.
Pardon?
I could be a Martian.
Well, fine, let's accept you're a Martian. Then in the same way you're a Martian, I'm a denier.
Paul Burgess, thank you for joining us.
That's okay, bye.
Thank you for making it to the end of the Manx Radio newscast. You are obviously someone with exquisite taste. May I politely suggest you might want to subscribe to this and a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider so our best bits will magically appear on your smartphone. Thank you.